Welcome to another edition of Breaking News brought to you by Source Selection Soundbites. Today, we will discuss the case of Glucan Biorenewables, LLC, or Glucan decided by the SBA Office of Hearings and Appeals, or OHA. Glucan responded to a National Science Foundation, or NSF Phase 2 solicitation. At the time, the small business qualification was the business had to be 50% or more owned by either one or more individuals who are citizens or permanent resident aliens of the United States, other small business concerns owned by qualifying individuals, or a combination of the two. The NSF protested Glucan's size and eligibility to participate in the SBIR program. The NSF protested because they did not think that Glucan's ownership structure was permissible under the SBIR program regulations. In response to the protest, Glucan informed the SBA area office that its ownership structure was 1. 48% was owned by Focus First, a limited partnership. 2. 13% was owned by the Wisconsin Alumni Research Foundation, a nonprofit. And 3. The remaining 39% interest was held by 4 individuals. Focus First, in turn, was controlled by its general partner, Focus First Holdings, LLC. The SBA area office determined that Glucan's ownership structure did not meet SBIR program requirements because they did not meet the ownership requirements because individuals owned less than 50% of the company and the business was owned by another business. In addition, the Wisconsin Alumni Research Foundation did not qualify because it was a nonprofit entity. Upon learning of the SBA's decision, Glucan appealed to the OHA. Glucan contended that the area office erred in finding that the structure of Focus First was impermissible under the regulations. Glucan acknowledged that Focus First Holdings was the general partner of Focus First, but emphasized that Focus First Holdings was owned and managed by 3 individuals. Glucan asserted that Focus First was controlled by individuals through Focus First Holdings. En route to finding against the appellant, the OHA noted that a SBIR awardee may be owned and controlled by small businesses, which are, in turn, more than 50% directly owned and controlled by individuals. Since the OHA found that Focus First was not directly controlled by individuals because the control flowed through the entity, Focus First Holding, they affirmed the area office's determination and denied the appeal. Now, let's address a few of the lessons learned from this protest. They include 1. SBIR companies must be 50% or more owned by individuals that are U.S. citizens or resident aliens or companies controlled by qualifying persons. 2. Qualifying companies must be for-profit entities. And 3. The wrong ownership structure can sink an award. But note, qualifying ownership now includes 2 Alaskan Native and similar companies as well as venture capital companies. In this episode of Source Selection Soundbites, we discussed the Glucan case and a nuance of SBIR program ownership eligibility requirements. This concludes today's Source Selection Soundbite. If this video was helpful, hit the like and subscribe button to ensure you don't miss any new material. If you want more details on the subject, they are available on the Source Selection Answer app. It contains lectures, quizzes, court cases, sample documents, and more material that allows practitioners to quickly obtain actionable knowledge. Thanks for watching. See you next time.